Hey guys, PlayerPunk6 here. So today I just want to talk about the new Kirby game, Kirby Star Allies, for the Nintendo Switch. So, about a week ago you guys saw me do an unboxing and showed off this cool poster that I got, and then you watched me stream the whole game. And yeah, now I just want to talk about it and tell you what I thought about the game. So the game starts out with this wizard guy basically breaking a giant crystal heart, and basically purple hearts come down and basically possess like King DDD and Meta Knight and all the big normal bosses, and basically make them go and steal all of Kirby's food, which that's basically the premise of every game, is Kirby's food has been stolen. So one thing that's really cool about this game though is you do actually get to play as all the different bosses in this game. The thing about this game, each game has its own gimmick of what you do in the game. The gimmick for this game is that you have 3 friend characters that play along with you. So basically you can throw a friend heart at any enemy that you want to have on your team. And you can have up to 3 teammates plus yourself. And you can play with friends too. So if you want to play with a friend, they become one of the teammate that you befriended. And one thing that's really cool about this game is you can combine abilities. So say you have a sword character and you have another character that does fire. What you can do is, if you hold up, your characters will go, there'll be like a heart around the characters, and they'll go together, and whatever abilities they can share, say fire and sword, you'll make a fire sword. Or say you have electricity, you can make the sword have electricity. Or say, you got like a yo-yo and you want to have a fire yo-yo. Different things like that. It gets really creative. They make use of these combined abilities in really creative ways, because there's a lot of puzzles in this game where you have to have certain abilities in order to get through a lot of the secret areas. If you're trying to collect all the collectibles in the game, say there's a bomb and you might need to cut it down and then have it explode at a certain time. So you would need the cutter ability, and then you would need the bomb ability, or you would need the cutter ability and then you would need the fire ability. So what you could do is make the cutter have fire, so when you cut it, the wick will start going down, and as the bomb falls, it'll explode at the right time. That's a really early puzzle, so I'm not really giving too much away. But there isn't really a lot of super difficult puzzles in this game. Most of the puzzles in this game will actually give you the ability that you need to do the puzzle right there, so it's not really that challenging to figure out what you need. There was the odd time here and there that, say, after you beat a boss, you have to take that ability, and I might not have done that, and I had to restart the level in order to have the ability that I needed at the right time. One other thing is, this game is actually not very challenging. I mean, it is a Kirby game, and most Kirby games are... not most, all Kirby games are really, really easy. They're really simple, they're really fun to play, but they're not challenging. There's never been any challenge. Kirby games has always been about just being super cute and super fun and relaxing. But one thing though, this game is, like, compared to some of the other Kirby games, even finding some of the collectibles are really easy. In the other Kirby games, like the one on the 3DS, I had a lot more challenge trying to figure out what abilities I needed or where some of the stuff is hidden, and I've had to backtrack a bunch. In this game, I didn't really have to backtrack very much at all. There was 1 or 2 times where I did have to, like, suicide and go back and get abilities that I needed, but that was very rare. I didn't die once in this game due to taking damage from any enemies. I actually ended the game with over 100 lives. So one thing I really wish is that the game did have a hard mode. Like, no Kirby game has ever done this, but they should really add a hard mode into Kirby games. It would make it a little bit more challenging. Actually, a few of the later bosses actually did challenge me a little bit. There were a few times where I actually thought I was gonna die, and then I ended up pulling through, just barely. I just barely pulled through, but I didn't die once due to enemies hurting me. There were a few times that I might have died where I got squished or some hazard in the level, but that's about it. One thing I just thought of that you can do yourself to make the game a little more difficult is try to play the entire game without befriending any characters. Like, if you have to play it with just Kirby and no help, I think that would make the game really hard, because actually some of the later bosses I almost barely didn't beat, even with all 4 characters. So, I might go back and try to do that. But one thing I really wish is that they would just make the characters a little more aggressive, or have like more enemies on the screen at one time, just to make it a little more challenging, because the game, as I said, is really easy. The music in this game is really good, it's really charming, it's really like, it really draws you in, it's very like classic Kirby style music. There is a few levels that actually sounded a lot like Zelda, which I thought was kind of weird, but the levels kind of had a Zelda vibe, so it kind of worked. There's also a lot of hidden levels that you have to find, so throughout the levels you have to find these hidden switches. The switches will unlock new levels. But in these secret levels that you can go to, the music in these levels is from classic Kirby games. It's, I think, the only area in the games where it actually had a lot of like very classic Kirby music. I think most of the music in the game was new music, but it was still really good. A lot of the enemies in this game too are brought back from older games. So like the Wispy Woods, the very classic, the tree from the very first game that like rains down all the apples, he's in that game. Like obviously King DDD, Meta Knight, like there's a lot of classic, Kirby nostalgia in this game. This game has a few new abilities, at least I think they're new, but some of the new abilities are really cool in this game. So there's one where you're just a sweeper. You're just going around sweeping with a broom, which it doesn't sound like a very good ability, but for some of the stuff you can do combined, it's really cool. Like you can sweep different enemies and they'll turn into a curling iron. Not a curling iron, like a curling puck, like the game curling. And basically you just like sweep them and they go flying across the map. And you have to use this ability quite a bit. There's a lot of really cool combinations of abilities you can come up with, different things like that. There's also, I think it's a new one, this water ability. You throw water and you can kind of like surf across the floor. Kind of similar to how you would move in Splatoon when you're swimming through the ink. It kind of felt like that. It was really cool to see, and it was really like satisfying to just kind of float across the ground like that. And one ability that I was really hoping would come back into this game, I don't know if it was in a lot of the other games, but I know it was in Kirby Superstar Ultra, was the wheel ability. Also, if you have friends, I highly recommend playing this game with friends. It's really fun to play with friends. It's very simple. You can pick, there's lots of different combinations you can do. And if you play with friends, the friend characters actually end up looking like the enemies. They don't look like the Kirby versions, which is really cool. And this game is also really good if you play single player. I played through half the game single player, and I thought it played really well, and then I played with a friend, and it was just as fun, if not more fun, to play with a friend. So this is a really good game if you're looking for a game to play with friends or play by yourself. This game also has a lot of really cool mini games. One of the mini games is like a baseball game where you try to hit the ball, or there's like an asteroid coming and you try to hit it and see how far you can get it. There's also this other one where you're chopping down a tree, but there's enemies on either side of the tree, so you have to kind of go back and forth on which side of the tree you're chopping, but you just kind of chop and move back and forth as quickly as possible. You also have the option to use motion controls for all of these mini games. You can use the Joy-Con as a bat or an axe, or there's lots of different things you can do with it. The HD rumble in this game is really good. There's one part where there's a heartbeat and you literally feel the heartbeat in the controller. It's really cool. It's one of the first times that I've really seen really good use of the HD rumble. Other than obviously 1-2 switch and that one mini game where you have to count the marbles. That was a really good use of HD rumble too. There's also a boss rush mode that you unlock after you beat the game, which you can get used to unlock more of the puzzle pieces that you get in order to unlock the different pictures. That's really the only way to 100% the game, is to just keep playing the game over and over again and unlock the puzzle pieces. Each level has one big puzzle piece that you have to find that's a little tricky to find. You have to really know which abilities to use in order to get to certain areas. But it's not super hard. It's really easy to find everything. But it's a really, really fun game. I had a lot of fun with this game. It's not like the best game ever, but I'd probably maybe give it around maybe like an 8. It's pretty fun for what it is, but don't expect like a big challenge. Just if you want like a really relaxing, fun game to just kind of lose time in and not really have to think too much, check out Kirby. It's a fun game. You know, what more can I say? It's Kirby. You can't go wrong with Kirby. I don't think there's been a single Kirby game that was bad. Thanks for watching my video, guys. I hope you enjoyed my review of Kirby. I had a lot of fun playing this game, and I hope you guys have as much fun with this game as I have had. Please let me know in the comments, what is your favorite copy ability? It could be a new one from this game, or your favorite classic copy ability, maybe it wasn't in this game. Just let me know which copy abilities you guys like. Also, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and give this video a like. And also, please hit the notification button so you'll see when I post new videos and when I'm live streaming. Thank you guys. Hope to see you guys later.